Can start. So thank you everyone for joining. This is the first talk that we have together. So just so you know, Stéphane, we had the kickoff of the third edition of the hackathon yesterday. So happy to see that we have that many people that registered to this very special event. And so today for this very first talk, we have the chance to welcome Stéphane Lannuzel, will pitch us a little bit of what he did on the beauty tech ambition at L'Oréal.
Thank you, Quentin. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. So first, welcome everybody. First, congratulations to join this new edition of the High Paris Hackathon. I've been part of the previous edition, at the kickoff, member of the jury. So for me, it's always a great moment to start the hackathon again, and you will see it's a bit of an adventure, but I hope it will be a lot of fun, a lot of exchange, a lot of learning, and you will see that by January when we'll have that wonderful weekend. You work in teams to really create product solutions that are really innovative, and it's also a great team exercise. So I'm delighted to be one of the I think the first this year talk. The purpose of this talk is really to tell you a little bit what we do for AI in our companies that are sponsors of AI Paris, and I'll talk about L'Oréal. What we do with AI in the beauty industry, but I also, as the theme of this year hackathon is around sobriety, sustainability. I also wanted to position a little bit my talk about how AI can be a force of good, for our consumers, obviously, a force of good for our employees, but also a force of good for the planet. So I'll talk for about 45 minutes or so, and then I'll open for any question that you may have. The idea is really to give you some inputs, for the hackathon, obviously, but more importantly, also what it means to use AI in a large corporation like L'Oréal. So I'm Stéphane. I'm the beauty tech program director in L'Oréal. So it's a worldwide function covering all the geographies, all the divisions of L'Oréal, all the category, and all the function. And I basically manage teams of data and tech specialists that are developing either services for our consumers or solutions for our employees. And I've been managing that digital transformation program for L'Oréal for the last 3 years, with one objective, which is to make L'Oréal the champion of the beauty tech. I'll give you a little bit of background around L'Oréal. It'll be quick. But the first thing I wanted to say is that obviously we are using data science and artificial intelligence, as I explained, to invent new services or to develop solutions for our employees. But to me, data science is part of science. And L'Oréal is born in 1909, really born in science because we were created by a scientist, a chemist. And science has always been part of our story and part of our history and part of our DNA. So it's normal that data science, which is one field of science, I could say, is also part of what we leverage in the way we invent the beauty of the future. Some quick numbers. So L'Oréal is the #1 company in the beauty industry. So we are the leader of that industry of beauty. We are around 15% market share. We have 88,000 employees worldwide, a turnover of 32 billion, and maybe you don't know that, but almost 30% of our turnover is done on e-com. So digital and the digital transformation has been part of the L'Oréal story for many years now. But we also invest a lot in research that is recognized with the papers that we publish or the patents that we get. And we invest more than 1 billion per year on research, which includes research in AI and in data science as well. So what I wanted to share with you is, what is beauty tech about? So beauty tech is the program that I lead, which was created at the end of 2018, which conviction that we had that the beauty industry will be disrupted or will be enhanced by the technology. And the tech disruption was not only for finance or for travel or for other industries, even in an industry like us, where your beauty is about products, it's about smelling, it's about touching. Our strong conviction was that tech will play a significant part in that transformation. And the beauty tech program, our aim is to invent the beauty of the future. And a beauty, and I'll explain that, but will be more inclusive, more personalized, more targeted than it was before. And a beauty that will also be more transparent and more responsible than before. And our strong conviction is it's only by using technology and data science and AI that we will be able to be more inclusive, more responsible, and more transparent. But beauty tech is also about becoming the company of the future, and that symmetry of attention that when we work on such a large transformation, we focus on using AI and data science both for our consumers but also for our employees is very important to us. And becoming the company of the future means being more nimble, being more agile, to be even more creative than ever. L'Oréal is well known for its creativity, for the quality of its product, and also for its research capabilities. And we think that in all these fields, tech can help us to be more nimble, more creative, and more innovative. We think that the future of the beauty will be at the crossroad of science, and science will always be at the heart of what we do, and we still, as I've explained, investing a lot on science, but it will be at the crossroad of science and technology, and it will be really the combination of the two that will help us to create the beauty of the future. To do that, we have created a network of digital factories with more than 120 data science specialists worldwide, with teams in Paris, obviously, New York, Shanghai, and Toronto. And we work as a hub, meaning that on the different use cases that we develop and on the different products that we create, we pool on resources that can be located in every of these locations. So what do we do? So what does it mean to use artificial intelligence to invent the beauty of the future? So the first concrete example that I want to give you is that we have developed some algorithms, and we are improving our algorithms to do skin and hair diagnostic by using selfies, pictures. We are able to have a much better understanding of the skin disorder, and to be able to personalize the treatment, the routine, the products that we want to give to our consumers. This is based on solution that is you start with a selfie that you will upload. You will use that selfie to do some analysis on the skin assessment, to really visualize the different skin concerns with more than 16 different clinical signs of aging. Based on that, you will be able to, we are able to give you a routine, which are what are the most targeted products with recommendation engine for your needs. And then basically moving to the next step, which is moving to the e-com platform to be able to buy this product. Now, this has been done by using more than 10,000 selfies that we did gather that were annotated by dermatologists on the different clinical signs, and then used to train our algorithms to be able, when you take a selfie of yourself, to be able to recognize these different. So how does it work? Obviously, there is a data collection part. In that case, with the image collecting, which we do because when we develop products, we take a lot of pictures of the people who to look at the way they use the products, and also what is the impact of the products on their skin. Then the second part, as I explained, is really the labeling part with the derm, and then being some machine learning model to be able to identify each of these different clinical signs. And I think one important topic when you do that, obviously, you need to make sure that your data set is unbiased, that you are covering different skin types, different skin colors, different skin origins. And that's very key so that your algorithm is unbiased and accurate. But even when you choose the dermatologist that will do the labeling, you also need to make sure that you have an unbiased and diverse dermatologist panel to be able to have a very accurate model and also unbiased. And this is key. Even in simple application that we develop, working on the inclusivity, working on the potential bias that you can create by doing that and obviously there is a strong validation phase because making a recommendation on a product or routine that you will tailor for the consumers needs to be validated before you make that a product that is used by millions of people. So this is one example of how do we use algorithms in the beauty industry to be able to make some targeted recommendation. But the next frontier for us is, and that's the team in Toronto that is working on that, which is to be able to predict the future of your skin based on where you live, based on the pollution you are exposed to, and based on the products that you use. And we are working on that topic so that we can project the evolution of your skin depending on all these parameters. And that's really a very interesting topic. It's leveraging the GAN approach. And it's still at the beginning of, we are still at the beginning of that work, but it's very promising because the quest in the beauty industry is to be able to see immediately the impact of the product. And when you develop skincare products, it's not that easy to describe, and we've been able to do that with this type of technique. Let me now give you a second example in the field of responsibility and transparency, which is also a target that we have to when we say we want to invent the beauty of the future. Obviously, a beauty that is more responsible, that is more transparent, will rely more and more on ingredients that are coming from the green science, which mean that are coming from natural origin. So it means that we are developing new formulas and doing some substitution of some ingredients based on a new family of origins that are coming from natural origin. And that's not that easy because as we are developing more and more formula, we are also replacing more and more ingredients in our formula. That is creating a lot of workload for the people in the laboratory. They need to find the ingredients, to make the formula physically, then to test it, then to evaluate the performance of the formula, and if it's not correct, then to try again. It's a very iterative process. And we have been working on developing some algorithms to be able to do that. And I will give you an example of an algorithm that we have been developing on air coloration. The question that we had was, okay, when you have an air coloration formula, we wanted to substitute one of the ingredients and to look at what would be the best substitution for that ingredient and what would be the performance of the coloration if we substitute this ingredient. And the performance of an air color product is about the color itself, the shine, and also the tenacity, meaning that your color will stay after a few shampoos. And basically, the team has worked on developing some algorithms to be able to predict all these parameters if we do substitute one ingredient, meaning that we go from ingredients to color, which means we change the ingredients and the algorithm is predicting the color, but we are also going in the reverse part, which is you start from a color and you are asking the algorithm what are the best ingredients to reach this color. So that was the task that we embarked, really using all the data that we had been able to gather with all the experiments that we did, and also working on training this algorithm with one key topic, which was being very clear on what was the scope of usage of that algorithms. And once we had developed the different algorithm, this was implemented in what we call a digital assistant, which was in the tool of the lab formulator. And it was really behind the scene. The lab formulator didn't see the algorithm; it was only seeing the output of the algorithm. So it was inputting into that screen that you see, the ingredients you wanted to change, some parameters like the target cost for the formula, the target in terms of environmental impact, and the algorithm was giving him 4 different formulas, and then the lab has to choose between the 4. And that's also another key message that I want to give you when we work with AI, when we work with algorithms. And when you develop this AI-powered digital assistant, it's always very important to say that the final say is with the human person, because for the adoption of the solution, for the explicability, it's key that you leave some choices to the human, and that's what we've seen. We started with only giving 2 solutions, and we realized that it was not enough, and it was much better to give more options to the people in terms of adoption. So this is another example of concretely using AI to be able to formulate products using algorithms. And, we launch 8,000 new products in L'Oréal every year, and now most of them are being powered by algorithms that have been developed by the data scientist team that I was mentioning. So that was about inventing the beauty of the future, a beauty with services, diagnostic services, a beauty with digital formulation. But we think that tech is also there to help us to be more nimble and more creative. And let me give you some example of the type of solution that we have developed. The first one is about trend detection. Obviously, when you work in the beauty industry, you want to know, what are the new trends that are emerging, because you want to make sure that either that you develop new products to address these new trends, or if it's more a short-term trend, somebody saying that cleanser is very popular, or this type of cleanser, how you can manage the activation, meaning what type of media investment you will do, what type of promotion you will do, to be able to promote this type of product that are answering to a trend. So we've developed a trend detection system with our team of data scientists that is, doing some analysis of what is happening in the academic world in terms of research in our beauty industry. What are the scientific papers that are published? Doing also some listening on the social media, and seeing what are the early signals of a trend that is emerging. So is it emerging in the scientific area? Is it emerging because we see some macro influencer that are talking about the trend, and how then it's being amplified by the social media? And so the tool that we have developed based on algorithm is doing that, and is giving our teams, trending, really some new trends that are emerging. And we do that on a real-time basis, so that the team, they are nourished real-time on all the different trends that are happening worldwide. Meaning that they can see, here in Europe, a trend that is emerging on the west coast of the US, and that is then traveling to Japan or Korea, and then moving to Europe, and they are able to see how these trends are moving, and being able to address these new trends that I've explained. So this is a tool where we leverage many external data sources that we then analyze to make this type of recommendation. But what I wanted to share with you as another example of going in more details is about solutions, a product that we have developed for our marketing teams and also our research team on analyzing the reviews and ratings that consumer leave on all the Amazon or the e-retailer sites on our products, but also on the competition products. So what is very interesting for us is that we have now real-time feedback on our products from the consumers through the ratings and through the reviews. So we have developed a solution that is called Consumer Loop that is pulling all these reviews for our products and for our competitors, and doing some analysis of these reviews to understand what the people are saying about our products and what we can do about it. What we can do to enhance our products, to fix some issues if they are, or really to enhance our media on some topics that are really liked by the consumers. And just to give you a little bit of the behind the scene in terms of data science on such a product, there are 7 key algorithms that have been developed to power this. First, you get a lot of data with thousands or hundreds of thousands of reviews on products. So the first thing is you need to identify which product is it about. And that's not easy because the way a product is described is not the same on Amazon, it's not the same on Carrefour.com, it's not the same on Sephora.com. But it is the same product. So you need to make sure that you have an algorithm that is capable, based on the raw data that you gather from the different sources, that you can put together and identify that this is the same product. Then you need to say, okay, this product is a skincare product, a makeup product, or an hair coloration product. Then when you analyze the reviews, which is the comments that the consumers have written, you need to be able to say, okay, this is the topic is mentioning. He's talking about the texture, he's talking about the smell, he's talking about the packaging. And we guys are living many topics in the same in the same reviews. So we need to be able in a single review to extract the different topics. Then we compare that with the list of pre-established topics that we have, but we are also discovering some new topics that we haven't thought about, that we are putting in our database. Then we need to be able to to see, if this topic has a strong influence on the rating. If you are bad on the smell, it's very likely that you will only get 1 star. And if you are good on texture, this is a key topic to get a 5 star. So the importance of the topic versus the rating. What we need to also understand is this topic discussed positively or negatively. And last algorithm that we have to develop is what we call bias control, meaning that a 4 star on Amazon is not the same that a 4 star on Sephora. So when you compile and analyze all this data, you need to take into account for these different bias from the different channels, but also from the different geographies. So, just sharing with you, to build a simple solution that is analyzing the reviews and ratings left on the products for our products and the competitors. This is what is happening behind the scene and the scenes, sorry. And I can tell you that there are a lot of brain and data science hours involved behind that. And what is funny is we started with a very structured list of topics that we were looking into the reviews and ratings. But what we've discovered is that there were many topics that were discussed that were not in our initial list. And I'll give you one concrete example. One of the most discussed topics in the reviews and ratings is what we call change of formula, which is the perception that the consumer have that we've changed the formula, even if it's not the case. And sometimes they say, oh, they have changed the formula again, the smell is different. And this is one of the key topics that we had to add to our list based on the output of the model. So what I wanted to give you with that example, is in a company like L'Oréal, how we are leveraging really tech and data science more specifically to be able to answer to some very concrete business needs. But before I open to question, let me share with you a few thoughts on our beliefs and commitment on the use of AI and technology. Our strong belief is that technology is a force of good for the planet. And we have strong commitment in terms of sustainability. And we do believe that it's only by technology and data science that we will be able to reach these sustainable targets. Technology is also an AI, a force of good for our consumers. And what I've explained with this diagnostic, we are able to really make our product much more inclusive, meaning that we are able to develop new product ranges for some of the consumers' needs that we were not addressing before, for some of the consumer categories that we were not addressing before. So to be really more inclusive, but to do that, you need to make sure that, as I've explained, the AI is really trained with the objective to remove any bias and to really be diverse and inclusive. And tech is also good for our employees, making the life of our employees easier. And I'm often asked the question, with AI, do you see machine replacing humans, or what is the future of the job? And I can tell you, I've been in that area for almost 10 years now. And this is a question that keeps coming up, but it's not a relevant question. All the solutions and the tools that we have been developing are there to augment people, to make their life easier. And it's not it's not a competition between human and a machine. It's really the force is coming from the collaboration between the human and the machine. And really the value and all the value of the solution that we have developed is always at the crossroad of the two, which is how can the human leverage the analytics to get insight But at the end, the final say, the final judgment is coming we looked at and we keep looking at the impact of tech in the life cycle. So obviously, we have some impacts that we call indirect, that when we are using Google Cloud to build the models, obviously we are measuring the emission and the environmental impact of that. When we are when I'm using my computer today, we are also computing the impact of such computer, but we are also looking when we develop a nice advertisement on TV, what is the environmental impact of that advertising, meaning the shooting of the film, the transportation of the actress, but also the broadcasting of ads. So just to tell you that this topic is a very serious topic that we take seriously, and end to end, meaning that taking into account the environmental impact when we are using a data center from Google, up to you using our shampoos every morning, and the impact of eating the water that you use to rinse the shampoo. So this is because we want that our tech is sustainable by design. So anything that we develop that leverage tech is we look at, okay, what have we gone through all the process of making sure that this is the most sustainable way of developing that technology. Because what we want to do is to decouple the development of tech, and we are investing a lot in tech and data science in L'Oréal, and we will continue to do that, but we want to decouple that growth of the usage of tech from our environmental footprint. The second thing is that we also want to leverage tech for sustainability, because our strong belief is that it's only by tech and data science that we will be able to create the innovation that will help us to meet our objectives in terms of sustainability. And obviously, another important part that I didn't mention, that we also want to develop inclusive tech. I've talked a little bit about the barriers earlier, but also to bridge the digital divide, making sure that what we develop can be used by people that are not so tech savvy. And just to share with you what we've been doing in very concretely in limiting the environmental impact of our technology. Each of us, we are measured in terms of what is the environmental impact of our tech usage. So we started many years ago, and each employee in L'Oréal is being given each year is the impact of CO2 emission by travel. So when I use the plane, it's being computed, and then each year I've been told that due to my international travel, I've generated that many tons, and this is how I compare versus last year, how I compare versus the other employees in L'Oréal. And I can tell you that when you receive each year this email, it creates a strong momentum to improve and really to challenge each of the travel that we do. And we've done the same thing with our tech impact. So each year, people in L'Oréal do receive their environmental impact due to their usage of tech, and with some tips on simple tips that you can work on, which is make sure that you clean your files so that we don't store files that are never used. Make sure that when you are in a video conference, that if it's one person talking to 500, that we don't have 500 video cameras on, because it doesn't make any sense. So these simple tips that are small steps, but the small rivers make big rivers in the end. And we do think that each of us has a role to play. So I just wanted to share with you that example. I'll finish with a very important element, which is, obviously all what I've been describing about the usage of data science and tech is about people, is about recruiting the right talent, but also upskilling and reskilling our people. And we are developing a lot of programs to make sure that all our employees are able to grasp these new technologies and to be able to help us in that transformation. So that's what I wanted to share with you. I'll then open to question. But what I want you to remember is that tech, data science are playing a key role in the beauty industry and in L'Oréal in particular, and really to help us to invent the beauty of the future, but at the same time to transform into the company of the future. That we are using tech and data science to develop services for our consumers, but also solutions for our employees. That when we do that, we have to do it in a very unbiased, diverse, inclusive way, and that performance of the algorithm is not the only thing that matters. You also need to take into account its environmental impact. And I will conclude in repeating myself, which is I strongly believe that data science and artificial intelligence, is a force of good for our consumers, for our employees, and for our clients. So that's what I wanted to share. So let me close the presentation and see if you have any questions. So maybe in the chat, otherwise I can also take any question if people want to.
We have a chat system with the Q&A, and I think we have a couple of questions already. One comment there was thank you, Stéphane, very inspiring to hear L'Oréal's mission from Zed. So thank you, Zed, for this comment. Another one about the content. You will be shared about extract of what we said, but not the entire content, as I think, Stéphane, something that is very confidential for L'Oréal. First question is, how did you obtain the initial data sets for skin identification?
So obviously, as we are developing many products, when we do products, we do test the performance of the products on people, and to do that, basically, you take pictures. You take pictures of the face before, after the usage of the product. And because we have been in the beauty industry for many years, we have a huge data set of pictures. And so what we and it's anonymized pictures. And what we've been doing is really using DERMs to tag all these pictures, and then we were able to use that to train the algorithm. And I see the next part of the question, which is. Was the picture the only element? The answer is no. Obviously, we have other point of data, which is the age, the gender, where the people lives from. If the smoking habits, things like that, things that have some influence on the skin cancer.
Okay, thank you. Second question, same person, same topic. Was the model only given the pictures? So I think you partly answered it. Or other demographic information was required or relevant? Example: age, race, gender, etc.
So I said yes. Yeah, obviously we incorporated all this data to be able to have a model that is as accurate as possible. And when we do a skin diagnostic, obviously we start with a selfie of the person, but there is also like a questionnaire that we ask on specific information, and it's the combination of the analysis of the selfie with the computer vision model together with the data that we have based on the questionnaire, that we are able to make some recommendations.
Okay. Thank you very much. And please, in the chat, don't hesitate to say if you want to add additional questions on this. One last on the same topic. What about the beauty standards, the local beauty standards? What they considered? Latin countries prefer tanning, Asian countries prefer white skinner, etc., etc.
So there are many elements in that question. Obviously, yes. The first in the diagnostic, the location of the people is important, but more important than the location is the type of skin. And we ask some questions to be able to track that. So that's on the diagnostic part. But what you are relating to is more the recommendation, which is when you have a diagnostic, how do you move to a recommendation? And it's true that the recommendation differs based on some let's say cultural topics. So it's I think the cultural part is more in the recommendation algorithm than in the diagnostic recommendation. So the diagnostic recommendation is looking more at the type of skin and the recommendation algorithm more on the cultural preferences.
Okay, super clear. Thank you, Stéphane. Another question is, when you move to the cloud, a third party is now responsible for the IT. Does L'Oréal still track the CO2 and carbon footprint on their IT in the cloud?
Yes, we do. And obviously we have moved to the cloud. We still have some also some on-premise capacity. And moving to the cloud, first, it enables us to reduce our footprint, because when you have your own data server, basically you have to build. You don't have the flexibility in the capacity that you need at a certain time. So, for example, when we train models, or when we need more capacity that we don't need all the time. So the flexibility that the cloud brings helps us really to reduce our footprint. The second thing is that we are also leveraging some what I call green data center, which is data center that are using green source electricity, and obviously we are monitoring and the consumption of the energy consumption of our cloud, the cloud of our providers, and that's part of the information that they give to us and that we ask, and that we add in our global footprint.
Okay, thank you. Super clear, super interesting. Two questions for Marius. Do you use some NLP tasks like sentimental analysis to analyze if your products are relevant for the customers or not?
Yeah, we do. We leverage a lot of NLP algorithms to analyze the reviews, to analyze any information that the consumers are leaving on the different media on our products. So we do have a lot of NLP algorithm that we leverage.
Did it answer your question, Marius? Yes, beautiful. Another one from Marius about biases before implementing a model to your sample, the data, so that all the skin color are equal, or to use any sampling methods.
Let me answer it in that way, because I'm not too sure I fully grasp the question. It's true that in any model that we develop, we look at all the potential bias that we can create, in the data that we use, in the as I've explained, in the tagging of the data. What we realize is that when we started years ago, the tagging of the data by a dermatologist was done mainly by European with an over representation of male dermatologists. So now we also look, okay, are we creating any bias in the people that are doing the tagging of the image, and then we also look for potential bias that the model is creating itself. So we do look at all the bias that we can create at all of the different steps. And I think what is also very important is that when you have no choice, because your data set is limited, is also to be very transparent on, okay, this has been trained on this or this parameter. And I think that's also very key in what we do.
Okay, thank you. Another question, a little bit different. Would L'Oréal be willing to share some of the data sets in interest of larger good via Kaggle contest or open request?
I'll start with iParis. We have developed some data sets, so it won't be used for this hackathon. But maybe for a next edition, and we have developed, like, let's call it public data set that we can use in more, for example, in sales forecasting, which is another topic, but which is also a very popular topic, where we can share some sales pattern on some of our brands that can be used to train some models.
Okay. This was the last question in the backlog. Is there any other questions around the people in the call? Anything you would ask? All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Stéphane. That was super interesting. People, if you have any other questions or more information about the project Stéphane just showed, please use the H Factory, or the Discord to chat with us, or emails as well. We can give you contacts. And thank you again. Thank you for coming with us, and happy to start the Hackathon third edition together with this very first talk. Congrats.
Thank you, Quentin, and congratulations to all the participants to dare to join the hackathon, and I wish you good luck in the process. And I'm looking forward to seeing the results of your hard work in January.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.